I felt like a new man, and I was excited. The trail lay just 10 kilometers away, and after I rejoined it, I would be heading into the mountains and back into the wilderness. Looks good, eh? The remote landscape offered a stillness, and in that quiet I found a clarity of thought otherwise lost in the noise of a city. I got to thinking about how me and Dad would clash, and how he was quick to anger. However, for me, I feel because I chose to not be quick to anger, it made me very calm, very good with children. That's why I went into teaching. But it also means you're able to push over easily as well, because you won't react, you know? And I think that's true for me when I was younger. You repress these feelings of anger, but what else do you keep in? It took me a long time to realize that. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Go away! Oh, F those guys. You okay? Yeah, all good, all good. No, having a break, yeah. In the heart of this wilderness, the traffic began to increase, and soon I came across this village that had become a popular tourist destination. It was jarring to be around all these people after being so remote only a moment before. I decided to press on. From the UK. I go...
Yes, view.
This way, no.
Look over here.
This way.
Look over here. This view, look over here. Look over here. Look over here, look over here. Look over here.
No.
Razumi. Look over here.
I don't understand. What did you say?
أنا رجل
Good to meet you.
إيه بابا
Later.
شو
Yeah.
بابا
Yeah.
ريت شيء
Yeah. Okay. What was this land I was in? Each time I stopped to rest, a farmer and his flock would appear, their faces weathered from countless days out in the sun, their smiles warm, their interest genuine. Who knows what they have seen in their time? I wished I could ask them. It was day 10, though it didn't feel it. Time here didn't pass, it paused, suspended in the stillness of this place. A single day means nothing to a land like this. The trees, the stones, they measure time in centuries, not hours. They shift slowly, and my presence here feels like a brief disturbance, a ripple in an ancient pond. Passing through, I'm struck by an urge to leave no trace, to slip away unnoticed. They were here long before my engine broke the silence, and they will remain long after I am gone. Onwards, I pressed. The trail took me out from the wilderness and towards Sarajevo, where the temperature again rose beyond 35 degrees, beyond what I could stand. In London, I filtered between traffic to save time. Here, I did so simply to have some wind flow in an attempt to stay cool. I was keen to explore this city, but decided I'd return in the future to do so. This was not that kind of adventure. I had fallen in love with the remoteness of the land, and I wanted more. I was nearing the end of the Bosnian Trail, and Montenegro lay ahead. I've been wondering what draws me to these places. I knew I had to really go far again. And there's no sense to it. I would be perfectly happy roaming the whole of France off-road trails because they are amazing. But I have to come here to Bosnia. When people said it was a very remote feeling, I knew I wanted that. I'm trying to work out what the breakdown is of fun to suffering on trips like these. But maybe it's not about the fun. Maybe it's about something more. I met Faris at that lakeside campsite. He must have been 20-something. He was full of hope, you know? He was full of hope for the future of his family's campsite, full of hope for the future of his country. And he had this smile on his face when I said, I didn't realize Bosnia was like this, you know? And he said, yeah, I get that a lot. And he was proud. And it gives you perspective, you know? Whatever you've got, be proud of it. I tell children at school, you know, take pride in your work. Take pride in your work. Do some work that you'd want to show your parents at the end of the day. This line that you're drawing under your date and your learning objective, this line here, it matters. Make it straight. Start the page off in the right way. Sometimes when I say these kinds of things to children, you know, I realize that I'm saying them to myself. Start the day off in the right way. Take pride in what you do. Who'd had known a year ago when I got this bike that I would have done 10,000 miles on it. I'm proud of that. Let's go. I had reached the end of Bosnia as a storm threatened to break, its distant rumbles echoing across the hills. I hurried to the border and crossed into Montenegro, stopping at the first place I found to shelter for the night. I had been told that Montenegro would be the most beautiful, but warned it would also be the most challenging. I was ready to discover what lies beyond.
I'm quite jealous of you seeing some of these places that, I would like to visit, but not the way you're doing it. One thing I do wish that Dad and I had done was literally just take off, as you're doing anyway, and just go, and then stop somewhere if we fancied to stop. As Dad always liked to know where we were going to be sleeping that night. When he was on holiday, he would go out in the late afternoon, early evening, when the light was the best light, to get things that were picturesque or what have you. And he took some wonderful pictures.
They call that the golden hour.
Is that what they say?
Sometimes I arrive somewhere so full of the day's adventure that I'm unable to take in anything more. I only have energy to unpack my bags, wash some clothes, find food, and rest. And then, the next morning, I wake early before the world stirs. And in the soft morning light, I finally see where I've landed. And sometimes, by pure chance, it's somewhere extraordinary. I was in the Tara Canyon, the deepest canyon in Europe and second deepest in the world after the Grand Canyon. It spans for 51 miles and plunges to depths of up to 1,300 meters. The river that carves its way through the canyon holds pristine water that locals describe as being as clean and clear as a tear. For this reason, it is now known as the Tear of Europe. I've seen many things from the seat of a motorbike. In the Alps, I've ridden to altitude so high the stone has turned dark through the relentless grind of wind and ice. In Spain, I've passed through desert landscapes unlike anything else in the continent. In France, I've passed through endless fields of wheat, their golden stalks swaying gently as tractors carve patterns into the earth. But I've never come across anything quite like Montenegro before. This rugged, ever-changing land held surprises around every corner. I had turned a corner and seen what was easily the steepest, most rocky trail I'd come across so far, and then, right on cue, this man appeared behind. Like me, he was riding solo across many countries, and like me, he was following the trail blindly with no idea what lay ahead. I liked him immediately. We agreed to tackle this tricky section together and soon realized we had one more thing in common. We both had no idea what we were doing. Our struggles had bonded us, and we celebrated wildly. Finally, I asked his name. It was Martin. He came from Holland on his 1997 Africa Twin. He had organised an extended break from work and was using the time to see if he can get all the way to Turkey. The bike he rode was comically overloaded, with heavy panniers and a huge duffel bag. I would later discover that in this luggage he brought all manner of items along with him. A fishing rod, a hammock and a tent, a chair, diving goggles with a snorkel. It was, quite frankly, ridiculous. Martin was my kind of guy. In our struggles in this tricky section of the trail, I did something I hadn't done since my very first day riding off-road. I turned around. I'd like to think that without Martin I would have conquered this section, but something about dropping the bike and having him watch me struggle depleted all my confidence. And when it became clear that he wasn't getting through on his heavier bike, I wanted to stay with him and ride together. So we went around and rejoined the Tet by road. And this road took us into the Durmitor National Park. It felt good to ride with someone after so much time alone. Somehow we had managed to meet just as we entered the most incredible landscape I had encountered yet. When surrounded by such overwhelming beauty, the details can blur together, each breathtaking view becoming part of a larger, ungraspable whole. But then I stopped alongside Martin and saw the huge grin spread across his face. In that moment, I was reminded that what we were witnessing wasn't just beautiful, it was something truly special.
Ovo je slovačka zastava, slovačka. Prvo smo puštili slovačku, a poslije ide češka.